power, black. Like black power, but I'm gonna do it my own way. Let's let some folks get in here. See what's going on. Oh yeah. Get the microphone over here. Let's let some folks get in here. Let's go. You mean something special. There we go. I need some patience. What's going on, fam? And breathe. Let's see what it's looking like. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good, man. You guys like the new camera setup? Let me see. You got the screen down here. Got the screen right there. If you got any questions, let's get into it, man. That's what it comes right down to. New camera footage looks great. Appreciate it, fam. You know, I'll get the sound. I have mixers and everything else. I'll get the sound running through to where it'll be stereo quality instead of just having to hear it come through the microphone. I'm going back to using OBS. You mean something special. Here's what I basically wanted to talk about earlier today, except I just didn't have time. I didn't have time to get into the topic, and I'm going to touch a little. Let me see. I'll touch base a little bit about it today, man. But as men, we got to start talking about power. And when it comes to power, when I'm talking about men in power, I'm talking about two distinct, different people in power. I'm talking about power brokers and power players. See, a lot of this talk that you hear back and forth online is utterly meaningless in the real world. You can be an alpha male all you want to, but if it does not translate into dominance over men in the real world, you know how many alpha males I hear on YouTube who are really lower ranking men in the real world? Let's just be real. You got a lot of guys who talk about their alpha male and you ain't even making $50,000 a year. And I'm not going to call anybody's name out because that's not the point. The point is being a sexual alpha male has marginal utility at best. So, I'm framing this conversation in the term of power and black. Why am I saying that? Well, I'm wearing all black. And part of what you guys see me doing is standardizing what I wear, how I wear it, because there are certain colors that look good on me. I look good in black. Most people look good in black. Black is a color of power. Black is a dramatic color. Black is a great canvas. Black is a great canvas for which to paint or design something on. So, When I start doing the project upgrade series, you're going to see how I can take an average guy and make him look like a motherfucking monster. Oh yeah, let's also talk about that. You know, I'm not going to be talking about the race much on my channel anymore, but I am going to be talking about power. The Godfather is going to start cursing too, because it's crazy to think. If you honestly think that men of power, men out there in the real world, don't curse, you're kidding yourself. See, there's so many things that are going on YouTube that can be useful. One, younger guys knowing how to talk to older guys know how to talk to younger guys, older women and how to talk to younger women, and vice versa. So one thing I will say is I today's stream was going to be talking about how to read women. How to read women, and are you really ready for Blake Henry? I'm going to hold up on that one. But I'm going to tell you right now, you want to know if a woman is really worth a damn? Look at the way she handles her money. I look at the way a woman handles her money. And I look at especially women over 35. If you got education and some money and they use it as a weapon, meaning I'll pay you for this, or this, but if I don't get what I want, I'm going to use it. If people use money as a weapon to control people, pick that out. Looking forward to the project upgrade video. You've already started cussing, yeah. No. But you're going to start hearing it in regular videos, because a lot of my videos are going to be 7 minutes or better. So I'm liking the new setup in general, and we're tweaking it. You know, we're tweaking a little bit. So anyway, anybody have any questions? This is the perfect time to be loyal watchers to get some questions answered, because normally it would cost you $49.95 to get a question answered. I will take any questions right now. I'm going to be on for at least 15 minutes. Let's get some questions going. What's going on, Carl? Justin's in the house. Quentin's in the house. Mr. Allen, how are you? You know what? Let me go ahead and bring up Streamlabs too. Yeah, man, the camera's looking crazy, right? The camera, see the difference in the right equipment. The right equipment makes all the difference. And that matters because as you go to do your personal development, self-improvement, man, I don't want guys to sit around and downplay themselves. Power. You know, one thing I like about our president is he will tell you how great he is. I'm great, I'm wonderful. I did this, I did that. Man, how often do you actually trumpet your accomplishments? Can you in the future, hold on. Let me see what these questions go. Can you in the future do a vid on 9-style personalities? Already done the video. How much should I save up to relocate to Atlanta? I don't know, brother. I don't even know where you're coming from. But in general, you want to have at least 3 months of your income saved up. But the easiest way to move to Atlanta is to get a job at like a restaurant, Outback or something else, transfer, drive Uber while you're here, live at Airbnb, start over, sell all your shit, just move your car. That's the honest thing. What do you think about guys sewing their own clothing? I think you're broke. I think if you sew your own clothing, you're fucking broke. Your time is worth something. Why in the hell are you going to sit there and sew your own clothing together? What you doing, if you're sewing your own clothing, what you're telling everybody in the world is you're a broke ass. And your time doesn't matter. So you'll sit there and sew something for 12 hours. And I know you're broke. Because if you got 12 hours to sew something, that means you must not be making any money. That's real talk. Let me get on. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying. See what I'm saying? This kind of stuff. Can you be my life coach? I'm interested. Yeah, it'll cost you about, let's see, right now, it's about $3,600 for 3 months. For 6 months, it's right under $6,000. Three sessions each month. Or you could actually, that's about 9 hours, and for 3 months, and for 6 months, it's 18 hours. So it's less expensive than my a la carte hourly rate. That's an actual formal coaching agreement. But I also, if you're a Patreon of mine, you can become a Patreon at the assistant director level. And for $379 a month, you get 2 20-minute calls with me each month. So it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But either way, what you do is you have to, if you're interested in becoming an actual life coach client, you have to send me an email and I'll send you over the coaching agreement. What is a good starter watch for a white collar professional? Seiko automatic. It's like the 5 series. Oh, shit. Oh, crap. I was supposed to go to Macy's today and pick up that watch, R. Banks. Oh, well, the 20% sale is off. I'll actually make a video and put the watches together. Mr. G, appreciate it. Mike Obi, $1 million production right here. Thank you, fam. Guys, show me some love in the chat. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Kevin, we appreciate all you do. Angela, listen to Eric Liu regarding his lecture on power and TED Talk. Thank you. Can you drop the link for your non-style personality? Sonic. Well, I got to ask you, why is this such a big import to you? The non-style personalities is not going to help you figure out what yours is. Okay? It's not going to help you figure that out. In order to understand what your style personality is, the best way to go is to work with a verified image consultant and let them diagnose it for you. It's what I did with mine. You can go online and just kind of look up and see what them style personalities are. Boss, the corporate professional, or the boss, the all-American, the jock, the adventurer, hip-hop street, what am I forgetting? European. You need a little bit more European. And I added to the player flirt, the prepster. And I'm forgetting one. But doesn't really help you without knowing. Understanding your style personality is a language. Here, are you going to check out Black Circus when they come to Atlanta? Love the verse? Probably not. I am going to go see Erykah Badu and Nas, though. I'm going to see Erykah Badu and Nas. Is it possible for women to be intimidated by good-looking men? Oh, hell yeah. Let's just be real. I intimidate women all the time. I always have. I have women who, there have been women who honestly have been like, you know what, Kevin? I'm good. Because they want to be in control. But see, that's what you need to know. See, if a woman's going to be intimidated by a man who's good looking, that tells you something about that woman. Took me forever to find the bracelet you're wearing, but I got it. Cool. I have lots of bracelets, but it's my standard bracelet. Poetry. Hold on. Poetry night in Los Angeles in early March. I want to kill him. What scent do you suggest? I don't know, bro. I mean, I always say go with Acqua di Gio Profumo, man. I really don't know, man. It depends on where it is. See, the 9 style personalities, A, B, C, D, that's not original for me. That's just image consultant. That's just general knowledge. The 9 style personalities. Some people say 7, some people say 9. That's just general information. Did I get a wide angle lens? Yes, Mr. Jamal, I got a wide angle lens. I also got a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4 aperture. So I'm learning new terms. Trust me, I don't know this shit. But I got a 35 millimeter 2.8. So basically I can do this shot now. And then I got a That other one, the Sigma. And then I was looking to get the Sony 18 to 105 power zoom that sits on the gimbal and doesn't move around a lot. But apparently there's a new one. It's a 16 to 55, but the aperture is lower, so it's better in low light. See, I'm learning all this stuff. But see, at the end of the day, man, I want to have dope production. So I'm working Thursday, actually, I'm sitting down with a very good videographer here in Atlanta. We'll take this to the next level. Shout out to AM1. I also reached out to that brother because he's a videographer out in Oakland. I'll be in California in March, by the way. Let me go through some more of these questions. Hey, Kevin, I recently learned that a watch is a form of investment. Which watch brand do you think would be great for a blue-collar professional? If you're looking for investment watches, Rolex is the best. Rolex holds its value. It can be passed on as an heirloom. You can also use it as a form of liquid of hard cash. Rolex holds its value better than any watch brand on the market. Now, you can start going to stuff like Breitling, Omega, things like that, but they don't hold their value as much. Watches can get real crazy real quick. I used to love Tag Heuer. I just love the density of them. But if you're blue collar, man, I would the Seiko, the automatic, the five series. I mean, you know what? Let me just pull it up right quick. Keep saying Seiko. You guys having a good time tonight? So Seiko men's automatic watch, and it's called the Prospect. The Prospect is a good line of watches, in my opinion. I was looking at them yesterday. You know, I like something that's got a nice silver band, black face. They also have a nice blue face one. So the Prospect is a good one. And here's the thing. I look for watches to not look too crazy. That's why I don't like Invicta, because they get to be too big. Like this watch, as much as I love it, it doesn't go well under a lot of my French cuff shirts. So I need actually a lower profile watch for executive stuff. Hold on. Do you think, Kevin, when looking for a life coach or image consultant, it should be someone like you? For example, should a black man be I prefer men to work with men and women to work with women. Let me tell you why I don't work with women anymore. A couple of reasons. One, women tend to be very hard to please and tend to be cheaper. That's number one. Also, when women tend to want you to be able to do things outside of your power. I had a woman that wanted me to basically help her get married inside of a year. I can't do that. And then if some of these women don't get what they want discounts and their money back, and they're just a pain in the ass. I mean, honestly, a lot of people are starting to stop working with Western women at the middle market. Number one. Number two, I found that I was having that some of these women were wanting more than image. You know, hiring me to be their image consultant. Next thing you know, I'm driving out to their house that's on the golf course, and I'm in the closet doing the closet edit. Then here comes their husband in here. I'm like, he's looking at me like, hey, I'm like, I know I mean, if I were married, I wouldn't want my wife having a strange man in the house in the closet when I got home. But I think it's best to work with the same sex. And there's a comfort level that comes along with perceived cultural things. But honestly, it's about outcomes. I'm very good at what I do. And I've learned from some of the best, and they weren't black. It's about outcomes. So yeah. How do you prepare for presentation the day of? Any routines? Yeah. When I was in corporate sales, depending upon the size, when I had to go in for close, I would start off the day with I would go to Starbucks and go get me a grande caramel macchiato with 2 extra shots of espresso, whipped cream, and extra caramel on top. That was my closing. Drink. I would get up in the morning. I would burn Palo Santo wood. I have a Palo Santo candle, Palo Santo wood. It's cleansing. I would get up early, about 30 minutes early, meditate. I get in the mirror, and I would go over that Glengarry Glen Ross. Let me have your attention for a moment, because you're talking about what? You're bitching about some cellular shots. Some son of a bitch don't want to buy land. Some son of a bitch, some broad you're trying to screw, so forth. Let's talk about something important. Then I go, greed is good. Greed cuts through, captures, and clarifies. Yeah, I had a routine. I'm an athlete. That's what we're going to talk about this week. We got to become professional athletes. And this is why we don't have power players and power brokers. Appreciate it. This is why we don't have power players and power brokers. Power brokers this is what we actually need, especially in our community. But I need more men to become a power player. A power play is an attempt to gain advantage by showing that you're more powerful than another person or organization. That's a power play. Power player does the same thing. You want to be a power player, but a power broker is a person who deliberately affects the distribution of political or economic power by exerting influence or intrigue. I am positioning myself to be a power broker in Atlanta. I make no bones about it. I'm proud to say it. I'm positioning myself to become a power broker. Power brokers know the right people and can exert influence. Go look at the Netflix special, The Black Godfather. Clarence Avant. Power brokers don't have to be in charge they don't have to be a CEO. They don't have to be anything. They just have to be able to pick up a phone and make a thing happen. Brooklyn Circle. Okay. Ellen, okay, I need you guys. I'm getting behind on questions. So if you really want your question answered, I suggest putting it in super chat. It'll highlight it. Hey, Angelo. Okay, somebody asked about my opinion of Snoop Dogg. Are you still gonna give more of an opinion on Snoop Dogg apology? Yes. Here's the thing with Snoop Dogg's apology. He had to do it. He had to do it because there is no black male support. He had to do it because there is no black male support. Now, I'm coming at you from a damage control standpoint. He said what he said. Okay? You can't take that back. But in order for Snoop to have done what he should have been able to do, he would have needed black men to support him financially and in the media. When Susan Rice, the former National Security Advisor and possible Secretary of State, came after Snoop Dogg, he should have been able to say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm a private citizen, and I had one of the most powerful people on the planet come after me for my opinion. The only reason Susan Rice could even come at Snoop Dogg is because she figured he'd have no black male support. And this is why and thank you for asking this question. It feeds into the point of black men have no power brokers. We don't have a business class or a power broker class. The LGBT does. The right wing does. Every other group does. And the reason black men don't have it is because we don't give a shit about our personal image. I proved that on Obsidian show the other day. That even the so-called thinking black men are completely. We should be ashamed at how ignorant we act regarding our image. We really should be. And I'm going to use those words again. We should be ashamed at how damn ignorant we act regarding our own image. See, at least the dude on the corner and the dude on the block, I can at least say he don't know. But the dudes, the guys who are supposed to be out here, And y'all are still acting just as dumb. You're not ruthless enough to win. You're not pragmatic and amoral enough. Power only respects power. And the only way you Negroes are going to get some power is to start making power moves. And the first thing you have to do is get your image together. See, you want women to respect you, but understand, men follow leaders. Women follow power. Name me powerful black men in this country. You'll name me rich black men, but they're not powerful. Snoop Dogg is rich. He has no power. Black men, if I honestly said what black men should start doing in this country, you should take over corporate sales. The Irish have the police department. The Italians have the fire department. Take over sales. Black people should take over sales. Guess what? Because when you're a salesperson, you're one of the most valuable people to any organization. You're the first hired and you're the last fired. If a company starts firing salespeople, they're not long for this world. But in order to be a quality salesperson, you got to take that nice chocolate skin and that deep voice and all the other natural gifts you have. And you got to sit your fucking ass down and learn from somebody like me. And if I tell you to go left, right, up, down, up, you don't question me. You do what I say. Because I have the results and the resume to show you. See, Brad, Lee, Ahmed, Enrique, they'll do it. Keith would want to come in and say, get into sales. Yes. Because guess what happens, Nick Penn, when you go into sales? You can go into sales even with a criminal background. I'm going to do a series this week. How people with arrest or felonies can get into a career. Sales. Because it doesn't matter that you went to the right school. What they care about is, can you produce? Can you pass an insurance test? Then go sell property and casualty insurance for State Farm, Farmers, or Allstate. Go sell for Primerica. Yes, I have a lot of respect for Primerica. You better believe it. Get your 6 and your 63. Well, maybe not your 6, but get your life. Go sell life insurance. Become a producer. See, too many black men want to go become barbers and shit like that. You need marketable skills. Marketable skills. Skills that when you go work for someone else, like Nick Penn. Nick Penn, I think he's in B2C. See, if Nick Penn was my mentor, if he was my mentee, I'd be grooming Nick Penn from B2C to B2B. I just actually did a consult last week with a brother who wanted to be in B2B but went B2C because he thought it would be a lower barrier to entry. But I said longevity is always in B2B, and here's how you do both of them. But see, I need brothers like Nick Penn to book a consultation with me so they can get that knowledge firsthand. So that brother, I guarantee you, the conversation I had with that brother last week is going to impact his business in major ways. We got to start paying for knowledge. That's power. So we don't. I love to talk about relationships. I do. I've been talking about relationships since I was in college. I get off on this shit. I used to sit on relationship panels back in college days. That's why it comes so naturally for me. But we talk about relationships and sex and shit like that far too much. You know why? Because we can't talk about, profit and loss statements, venture capital. We can't talk about, we're going to start on this channel this week. Either tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm going to kick off the business brainstorm. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, audience, give me an idea. Give me a business that you want to launch. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Power, audience. Give me an industry, give me a vertical. It's called a vertical. Give me a vertical. Give me an industry that you want to launch, and let's brainstorm it. What books do you recommend for sales? The Challenger Sale, how to make friends and influence people. Start with Why, The Power of Habit. More than anything else, you need to have an underlying sales philosophy. If you were just working, go to work for a big company and get them to put you in high-end corporate training. But whether it's Dale Carnegie, Zig Ziglar, DEI, Sandler, you need a just like a basketball team needs an offensive system, or a football team needs an offensive system, you need a sales system to practice from. Give me an idea. I want logistics, software consulting agency. I want to develop my own media company. Come on, keep going. Software. I got software. I got media. Media would be a little too easy because I've already done that in advertising. A consulting business, a credit repair business. Come on, I see 2 for consulting. I see 2 consultants. Okay, I see 2 consultants. Tax, management, motorcycle shop. That's a brick and mortar. Airbnb management company. That's interesting. Reporting company, e-commerce on Amazon, social media agency. Okay. All right. So what I'm seeing, let's just take consulting. Let's just say consultant. Software consulting. Let's say software consulting. Well, let me back up number one. Number one, large companies don't go anywhere without talking to consultants. Ernst & Young, PricewaterhouseCoopers, they bring in HR consultants or this consultant or that consultant, and they don't make decisions without bringing in the best consultants, paying them a lot of money, and then shipping them away. Software consulting. All right. First thing you have to ask yourself is, who are you selling to? Are you selling to enterprise customers? Are you selling to mid-market? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some liberty. Enterprise is a different sale. Let's say you're going to be selling to small to medium business. That's defined as 20 to 500 employees. That's a small to medium business, because small business is 20 or less. 20 to 50 to 500. Okay. So let's say Nick Penn wants to start a software consulting agency, and I'm just going to call the software ABC XYZ. First thing we have to do is figure out who we're selling to. If we're going to sell to small to medium business, that means we don't have to worry about trying to talk to anybody that has headquarters outside of our state. We need to start working about everybody that's either headquartered here or the decision is based here. Where is the decision maker based? This is where you go to the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce has the largest repository of all the city's business information. You register a business in a state, it gets registered with the Chamber. It gets registered at with the state, and most are registered with the Chamber of Commerce. Then you go to the Chamber of Commerce, your local chamber. You're here in Atlanta. I would join the local Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. And then I would join the Buckhead Chamber of Commerce, because there's always a big one and a small one. All right. So we're going to be a software consulting firm here in Atlanta. You got to define your market before you just go sell. Sell to everyone, you sell to no one. So basically what Nick and I would know is the decision comes out of Atlanta. First thing we go is to the Chamber of Commerce. Second thing we do is go to the Buckhead Chamber of Commerce. I go one place, Nick goes another. We got that. Then we get on LinkedIn, and Hoover's, Dun & Bradstreet's. You go to Salesforce. You go to Sales USA. You have to go buy a lead sheet. You need to find every business that's in Atlanta Greater Atlanta area. What's up? The Greater Atlanta area. You find out all of the ones that are headquartered here, or the decision comes out of here. Well, hold on, Kevin. You need to know who the decision maker is. If it's headquartered here, that's going to be the owner or the CEO. But if the decision comes out of here, you need to try to target people for that kind of title. Let's say it's going to be the person who's going to purchase or make the decision for what software consulting firm is. It's going to be the CIO. So you got to have an owners. You have to have a company headquarter list and a list of CIOs. Well, we've only got started. So you got a list of people to call from. Here's all your. Then you need to say, here in the Greater Atlanta area, here's my target list. I'm gonna take the 50 wish list. These are the 50 companies I want to sell. And then everybody you know needs to know your top 10 on that list. The top 10 I want to sell, the top 10, they're Charles Faulkner, they're Stream Elements, there's Reginald Bray, there's this person. They need to be on the top of your mind because somebody can put you in contact with one of those 10. Then you need to understand your go-to-market strategy. You need a business plan and a marketing plan. But your go-to-market strategy is how you're going to attack this. Here's your city. You've already decided you're going to put your business here. You got a chamber here. You got a chamber here. But then you got to go sell that stuff. Well, then guess what? You need a process. Nick, I'm a better outside salesperson. You're better on the phone. So tell you what, I'm going to go shake hands and kiss babies while you can set these appointments for me or call and follow up with them. See, what I'm basically doing is I'm stepping you through the process of building a sales funnel for a particular business, because at the end of the day, it's always sales. You want to sell your software? There's a software consulting firm. Then there are 8 other ones. Why are they going to buy from me, especially if I'm new? That's why I got to know what I do better than the other 8. And I got to be able to position that to the person on the other end. And I need to make sure the person I'm talking to has the authority to say yes, not just the ability to say no. Let me stop right there. Have any of you guys ever been involved in something like that before? Have you ever seen that process work? That is a simple brainstorm with one person pulling shit out of the air. Basically, I've done this. Has anyone ever seen that done before? That's why you pay someone like myself to work with you. It's not because I talk a good game. It's because I've actually been out there and I've worked in enough industries, enough places to know. And then when you brainstorm, you get other people like me in the room together and we just spitball ideas off of each other. This is how industries are made. This is how business are created. There are people like me who are the idea people. Then there are people who are the implementation people. Me and these other people would brainstorm and come up with the best idea. 99 out of 100, 9 out of 10 of the ideas aren't going to be that great. But the 1 out of 10 is going to work. And then we pass it on to the engineers or the process or logistics people and say, this is the outcome. We say, what are we going to do? Then they do the bits and bytes and data streams and everything else. And then after the idea people come up with it, then you come back and say, can we logistically do this? Then we go to the accounting people and say, okay, do we have the money for this? Do we do it internal or external? How do we do it? Then you go to the salespeople and say, well, this is the new product or service we have. After we do this, it's got to be sold. Then you take it to the CEO of the board and say, okay, this is a new offering we can come up with. It can make the company this much money. That's how it works. Now, everything I just told you is game. Everything I just told you is strategy. Everything I just told you is power. But if we don't start doing that together, if you young guys don't start learning how to do that shit now, your competition that I learned it from is going to surpass you. I learned how to do all this stuff by working for larger organizations. Let me see. How many people, okay, it's just by simple up or down vote. Yes, I've participated in this kind of stuff in my business world. Or no, I haven't. Yes, I've been in a strategy session or brainstorming. No, straight up or down. Mastermind group. Okay. Yeah, man. How versus why, right? Corporate consultant. And see, the thing is, if I were going to go into, see, IT right now with automation and all this stuff. Okay, so everybody who's in IT, understand IT everything has a shelf life. What never has a shelf life is consulting. So let's see. We got a no, no, yes, yes, no, 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 yes, no, 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 no. Okay. See, I need to see 9 out of 10 yeses. Men, we've got work to do. What I just gave you was really entry level organizational management, entry level organizational thought. This is stuff you should have been. I learned this at age. I started learning this stuff at age 25. 25, I started learning this stuff. So however old you are, and I didn't start out in my career. Remember, I started out in engineering. I got into my career 3 years too late. 22, 20, 26, 20, 20, 25, 26. So by 30, I didn't go work I started off with a big company, then I went to a smaller company so I could learn through baptism by fire and learn faster. See, if I'd have just stayed on the large company career track, I would have grew at a slower rate. But because I went to work for, I'm 49, but going to work for a smaller company, I took a lateral move in pay, but I said I could go learn, and my skill sets went up here. So understand, Nick, when I went to work, left MCI, which was only second to AT&T. When I went to work for Allegiance Telecom, Windstar and Allegiance Telecom, they were startup companies. I went from working from the number 2 international long distance company in the world to a small startup. My sales rate sheet was written on a Post-it note. And if anybody understands what I mean by sales, imagine the sales collateral and sales materials that MCI had. We had I had to write my rates on a Post-it note. But why'd I do that? Because it forced me to have to make something happen. I had to build it. No one could take these skills from you. So if you get into some sort of sales and or consulting, you will always eat. Even if your buddy opens a logistics firm, I had my friends open an engineering concern. They went after minority government contracts because a certain amount of government contracts had to be minority bid. Neither one of these guys were worth a damn in sales. So when it was time to pitch their offer, who'd they bring in? And you know my deal was I get 10% of the contract value. I was a contract salesperson. These are one fraternity brother of mine and this other dude's in Alpha. We was road dogs, but this was business. Because I had to go sell their stuff. But guess what? If you had a $500,000 bid in, you could have tried to sell it yourself, or to make more sense to let the corporate sales guy get $50,000 and you take the 450. Yeah, most MCI is gone, but understand they were AT&T's, they were Burger King to McDonald's. They were huge. So, thank you. Sales is the foundation of capitalism and the economy. So, How do you think me as a man made myself indispensable to organizations? So much so that when I went in and I demanded something, I got it. So that's what we got to talk about. I was on, was it Ramil's show yesterday? Somebody's show. And a brother came on and said that he did something he got a job and he had a position. Then he saw an inefficiency in the company and he corrected it and improved efficiency by 20%. And then he took that and then he replicated it at the regional level and improved efficiency at the regional level. Then he took that and went to the company and said, "Hey, I want more from you because I've improved efficiency at the local level, at the regional level." And I said, "Hey, brother, if you had had a consultant like me, I would have said, after you demonstrated you could improve at the local level, I would have said, then we go to the company and say, we've already improved at the local level 20%. I can replicate this at the regional level, but in order to do that, I'm either going to need a substantial increase in salary, or I'm going to need a percentage of the net increase. So either you give me more money, or what I would have said is, I just want a percentage. Because if it doesn't work, you don't have to pay me. But if it does work, you owe me in contract. So let's say at the regional level, that would have been, let's say it would have saved the company $100,000. But let's say they have 18 locations. And at the regional level, $100,000 times 18 is what, $1.8 million? And if you said I needed 10%, that's a $180,000 payday. We got to start thinking like that, men.
Man, Kevin, you've made me realize truck driving wasn't the move. I should have went into corporate sales when I turned 21.
Hey,
I found your channel earlier.
It's not too late.
I'm just 22.
It's not too late. It's not too late. So if you need some corporate advice or you want to do a corporate chop up, here you go. Corporate advice is is part of something I do. I understand this. It's not too late. See, it's not too late to even. I started image consulting in my 40s. It's never too late. It's just you need a plan. I knew I was going to be successful because I had a track record of success. See, never do something that you're good at for free. Even when you work for an organization. If they have you come in there and do a job, you do your job. But don't go do your job over and above consistently without negotiating up. See, when I was in sales, I went to work for companies that said, if you produce, you'll be promoted. I produced and other people got promoted. But when it was, but 6 month mark, when it came time, they said, hold on. Oh, no. Oh, no. I threw a straight shit fit. No. I threw a shit right. I acted just like my non-black counterparts would have acted. I didn't wait. I said, oh, no. They had me sprinting. I had to sell 3 times what my competition was selling. 3 times. And understand something. I had never really even sold over 110% in my life. I had to sell 300%. And I found a way to do it. There's no way I could continue to sprint like that. And when it was my turn, they said, wait. And I'm like, hell no. I've got the money. I've got this. I want it. And guess what? I got it. But I had to perform. So we got to start thinking like this, guys. I don't want to belabor this too much. Am I consider writing a book? I'm in the business of writing a book right now. I'm in the process of writing a book right now. If you're good at something, never do it for free. So I understand that most people's apprehension in working with an image consultant is most of us just simply don't know what image consultants do. Well, I submit this. Most of us were raised lower middle class. We don't understand what consultants do. And this is why I tell you, guys in the top 10%, they have consultants all around them. I've used Dame Dash and people like that to where it's like, man, you're focused on your widgets. You need an accountant to do what an accountant does. You need an attorney to do it. As my business has grown, trust me, I can't handle everything. I have to do this. Well, what happens if I deal with somebody over here and there's a payment issue or this or that? Da, da, da. My attorney handles that. You think I'm going to sit back and worry with somebody? Well, you said you're going to pay this and da 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 da. Oh, okay. Then we start doing business. So, Nick, imagine this. You see me as an image consultant, but you know I have staff, I have contractors, I have an attorney, I have a couple of attorneys. Does that garner more respect from people who don't know you? You actually have business. You start building a vertically integrated organization. Guess what, Nick? It's time to do it for yourself. What are you talking about? What are you in here typing in caps for Father of Truth? We still don't get loans like, hey man, please don't come in here with that. If you want to, come on, man. I don't need to hear all this. What we don't get as far as other people. This ain't the channel for that, man. It's not. We owned more business than Caucasian. What the fuck is that going to do for you right now? See, excuse me to my non-black. This is about to be for black folks. You Negroes need to stop talking about history. Rosewood ain't you. Black Wall Street ain't you. Shut the fuck up and show me what you're doing right now. Don't tell me what they did back in ancient ancient Egypt or Kemet, or what the fuck are you doing right now? Right now. Because I would tell you, when I'm in corporate America, some of the biggest gains, biggest breaks have been given to me by non-black people. I've had brothers give me breaks, but I've also had non-black people. So I don't buy that stuff, man. I do not buy this stuff. When I see this kind of stuff, all I see is excuses. Jesse Owens can go to Berlin and kick the Germans' ass. What the fuck is your excuse? He's looking for ways to justify losing. That's what I hear, man. That's why I don't care about the past. What have we done? We owe ppou. Previous generations got a lot. They got a lot. We have not done our part. So my point is ultimately this. Tune back in. Vertically integrated organization. So let's say Nick goes out and starts a software consulting agency. And he takes the little brainstorm thing that I did and says, okay, he goes to hire a local advertising agency to put together a business plan and a marketing plan for him. He actually takes the money and he, does what he's supposed to be doing, and takes money and invests and pay them to run his Instagram and his Facebook ads and his he actually goes out and gets a customer relations management, a CRM. He's actually paying for systems. And he's working his ass off, and he's closing business, he's handling business. And then each quarter, he makes a profit, and he reinvests in his business, to the point to where next thing you know, that 12-month period, he actually hires on a part-time person. Then by Q2, he's hiring on a full-time person and another part-time person. Then by Q4 the next year, he's got 2 full-time people. Then by year 3, he's got 5 people working for him. And by year 5, he's got a full staff of 20 people. Guess what's going to happen? Those big fish out there, they're going to start looking and say, uh-oh, look at that little guppy over there. See, they couldn't see him when he was a microscopic amoeba, right? He was a one-person shop. They couldn't see him. But when he's at the regional level and he's got 20 people or so, local concerns, the local version of Dell, Apple, Microsoft, just fill in the blanks. They start saying, okay, we're losing accounts to Penn and Associates. Yeah, when Nick Penn first came out, he was just a little so and so. But we've lost some of our customers. They've gone over to Penn Associates. Yeah, that last bid we went in, yeah, Penn and Associates got it to the point where they're like, I'm tired of competing. Anytime we go up against Penn and Associates, we lose. What do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna come to Nick with a buyout or a partnership. Hey Nick, we've been in the business for 30 years. But hey, you got something going on over here, and Nick can decide to either sell or partner or compete. But then he continues to be successful. Then he goes to kick their ass, starts taking stuff from them. Then he grows from 20 to 30, from 30 to 50. 50 is the sweet spot in small business. 50 to 200 employees puts you in firm small business territory. Then Nick Penn and Associates starts to make the sales funnel list of other companies. Remember that sales funnel that we built at the beginning? When Nick is by himself, he's on nobody's list to be sold to. But if he gets 50 employees, he's all of a sudden people are marketing to him. You got Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield. You got companies trying to come in and sell you better insurance for your employees, better financial products, lower merchant fees. All kind of stuff starts happening in your direction. All kind of stuff. See, this stuff that never happens when we're by ourselves. Then you start looking at other regional or national, international players. Next thing you know, Nick could end up getting a buyout, and somebody come along and say, you know what, they're doing something. So you just go off from 10 million. We'll take it. 10 million. All right, Nick just decides whether or not he wants to sell it and work with them or go out and start something else. Nick sells for $10 million 12 years later. He's got $10 million. His people are well taken care of. And then what's Nick doing? He's 12 years and 10 million. Go start another one. Power. What do you think a man with $10 million, or what do you think a man with that kind of regional power, do you think that a person that has that kind of regional power has any political power in his city? The person who has that kind of power, he has power in his local area, the city he lives in, the state. They want, I don't want to get too far, but do you guys see how it works? Because we started out with the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce in Buckhead. But if you start employing people, next thing you know, the mayor wants to know who you are. You know, first off, your city councilman, your local representative. But if you're a local IT concern and you're hiring 50 people and paying them well, trust me, local politicians want to know your name. All right, so this is the direction we're going over here. This is the direction we're going on over here. To play in these games, because when you're one person out there, ain't nobody worrying about it. But when you start becoming a player, the game changes. Are you ruthless enough? I want you to think of some Game of Thrones kind of shit. Men over here, 48 Laws of Power is your career Bible. I don't want to be sacrilegious, but 48 Laws of Power is our career Bible. If we had to have a mascot, it would be Tywin Lannister of the Game of Thrones. That's how we play the game, except for when he went to the toilet. We're on some Tywin Lannister shit over here. And we are definitely gray areas. CIA, we are the gray area. That moralistic, it's black or white, it's good or evil. You're in a gray area. You're going to take it right up to that line. And then sometimes you will take it past that line. But you have enough people who are power players or power brokers to get you off. No great fortune was made without stepping on some people, destroying some stuff. Every great fortune is a great crime. I'm sorry. That is just the way it works. The Kennedys. How did Joe Kennedy become who he was? Backroom deals. He was a bootlegger. The crack of their day. And this is where we got to get real with it. By absolution, like the Carnegies and the Rockefellers and the Morgans, do all that later. But if we want to become power players and power brokers, we need industry. Even what I just said, go into sales. But when we go into sales, we got to work with other people. We need credit unions. What industries could we go into? What's everywhere? Not restaurants. What are things that people, some of the best business to go into is just basic human needs. People are going to always be born, die, create waste, have sex. People are going to be born, they're going to die, we're going to consume, which means create waste, and we're going to have sex. You get a business around in those kind of areas, you got something. Right? You get a business in some of those areas, you got something. See, furniture, not so much. No, not so much. See, I'm talking about thinking big, not regional. I'm talking about thinking I'm talking about everybody.
Can you talk about racism and bias in the workplace? Even the time you said your female coworker was bad-mouthing you behind your back and she was fired at your engineering job.
Can I talk about bias and racism in the workplace? Okay, let me just talk about racism, okay? Black people, racism will always exist. It will always exist. It will always exist. It is a fool's errand to think you're going to stomp out racism. It is a part of the human condition. We see differences. So we got to first accept that. The problem is not racism. The problem is you're vulnerable to it. Let's use our Jewish counterparts. There's anti-Semitism. You just make yourself powerful enough to where it doesn't affect you. There's bias against the LGBTQ. You make yourself powerful enough to where if anybody decides they want to take a bite at you, they lose big time. So let's just play it this way, Mr. T. Curry, play it this way. Racism is there. It's rampant. It's back in the days of Jim Crow and everything else. But if you're powerful enough to where they wouldn't think to do anything to you because the consequences are going to be swift and brutal, does it matter what they really think of you? We're losing. It's not the racism. We're losing. As long as there's differences, human beings are going to see them. So you asked me to talk about racism. Yeah, it exists. And bias in the workplace. Look, man, you're biased. You're biased. Yeah, the problem isn't racism. The problem is we're vulnerable to it. That's it. And you're biased. If T. Curry was made it up to regional manager and he could put his and he was hiring for a position, I would expect you to put and you had a cousin or a buddy or somebody who was equally qualified with somebody else, I'd expect you to use nepotism. See, the problem is not bias. The problem is we don't have enough bias happening in our favor. It's power. And power must be taken. Power's not given. So we're not going to go to somebody who's in power and winning and give them some moral justification as to why they should give us power. Power respects power. The wildebeest does not go over to the lion and say, you know what? You just ate my mom and my sister. I'm only a little wildebeest. You should be full enough. You really don't need to eat mine. And he's gone. The lion don't care. The lion looks at the wildebeest pride going on, and they pick out, what do they pick out? Do they pick out the biggest, strongest one? No, they pick out the weakest of the pack, and they eat it. What purpose, okay, this is going to hurt. What purpose do wildebeests serve on the Serengeti? What purpose does that animal serve? What is it? He has little short horns, long beard. What purpose does he serve? What purpose do they serve? The ugly. What purpose do they serve? The purpose is they only have one purpose: to be food for the predators. Lions, hyenas, wild dogs, panthers, leopards. Fuck, I think a honey badger would fuck it up. It is food. So black men, we are the wildebeest. At least the gazelles are fleet of foot. At least the gazelles are cute, attractive, cool. We got to become better. And this is where I'm going to talk to the women. Shit, I guess I'll just do it now. Since I want women. Powerful sons are what every other group of women on this planet give to the world. Black women, you got to give the world powerful sons. The mother is the first teacher of the child and the transmitter of culture. Are you ensuring your son will be powerful? If you're not, it is my humble opinion that you are not doing your job as a mother. It ain't about your feelings. It ain't about how you think about his father. You need to ensure your son is powerful. That is why in our community we are suffering, because we're not ensuring that we have powerful sons. It's harsh, but it has to be said. Single mothers, dominant single mothers, strong women raise weak boys. I was one. Strong women tend to raise stronger daughters and weaker boys. I think I've done enough on this channel to where you can hear enough men raised by single mothers to draw your own conclusion. In order for any group to be effective, any group needs power brokers or power players in their class. Men need to be able to compete at the highest level or the group is destined to fail. Men need to be able to compete at the highest level with all other men or the group is destined to fail. We all agree that the mothers are the first teachers of the child and that they transmit culture to their sons. What are women doing to ensure their sons will become powerful? This is something that, ladies, you need to understand. The best thing you can do to make sure your son's going to become powerful is be married before you have him. Marry a decent man and then have him sons, and allow that man and play and be in your role. But if you didn't do that, if you had children outside of wedlock, then to ensure your son becomes powerful, a relationship with his biological father and put him around powerful men. Date when he's gone. But the black community cannot continue to have weak sons. That's why these relationship things, we talk about men and women. Okay, forget us. What about your boys? What are you doing to ensure your boys are powerful? Are you putting them in Boy Scouts? Fuck football and basketball. Is he in Boy Scouts? Is he in chess club? Is he in math club? Is he in the science fair? Are you reading with him? Are you the only one raising him? Who are the men? Name five black men you love that aren't related to you. Because see, you could easily throw out your pastor. Or name 5 black men you love that you're not related to and not your pastor. Because you could say your daddy, your brother, your cousins, and your pastor. Take all them away. Name 5 black men that you love and have respect for. Because these 5 men should be around your boys. The reason so many black men today are behind is because the concepts we're talking about don't get transmitted from father to son, uncle to nephew, godfather to godson. Each black man tends to be just like me out here, and we're just trying to figure out on our own while other boys are being taught by other men. So if you really want to build a black community, black women, you have to give your sons over to powerful men and shut up and let us do our job. No combat sports. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One of the things that saved my life was combat sports. I'm shocked at how many young black men today are so ineffective. They don't know how to even defend themselves. So let's take it away from this. Everybody close our eyes. And I want you to go back and imagine we were living as human beings are supposed to live, in groups of no more than 5,000. We're supposed to live in small communities. Back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers, the men would have to go out and hunt for the meat to sustain the children, the village. Yes, we could not grow enough food to feed everybody. We had to go hunt. Well, while the hunters are away, who is left? While the warriors are away, who is left? The women, the children, the sick, and the elderly. What is the biggest threat to the community when the warriors are away? It's not predators. It's not wolves and lions and sheep and it's other men, other warriors. Warriors attack this village. What happens if the only men behind are not warriors? What happens to the women? I asked this to a guy today. Well, the women get taken. I'm like, no, you need to talk through it. Well, so what happens to the daughters? Well, they get taken too. And he had to actually sit down. I was like, I need you to say the words. He didn't even want to say the truth. He was like, I was like, yeah, what would happen to they would do diabolical things to your wife and your daughter right in front of you if you can't defend them. He said, well, they'd be the spoils of war. I'm like, that's a nice way. Men have to know how to fight. I've been called everything in the book. But what I don't get called is victim. If you don't think that I, as a young boy, did not realize that I was a pretty boy and that other boys didn't like me because I was pretty, I was not going to be pretty in food. I was not going to have you beating my pretty ass. Oh, no. So the first time I got into a fight because a dude didn't like the way I looked, I went and asked Rodney and Keenan to teach me how to fight. And you know how they had to teach me how to fight? They had to beat my ass. But guess what? Next time I ended up squaring up with Leon, I gave his ass the 3-piece combo. Me and Leon became good friends. You learn a lot about yourself learning to fight. If you're a young man right now and you're not in combat sport, you don't know who you are. You need to go on your own masculinity quest. You need to learn how to fight. You'll find out who you are when you get punched in your face real hard. You need to learn how to defend yourself with these. Forget a gun. These. Learn how to defend yourself with these. Because guns run out of ammunition. I said this on somebody else's channel. A warrior and military men, they can learn how to use any of the most advanced machinery or weapon systems, but they all run on ammunition. But every warrior always has one thing on him. His ultimate weapon, the knife. Could say a stick, but a knife. A knife can save your life. You can hunt, you can dig, you can forge. A knife could say Rambo should a knife. I'm getting all off subject. This is manhood shit, man. You need to learn how to fight. There's never too late to learn. I'll say this and I'll end. There's never too late to learn. It's never too late to talk about changing careers. I changed careers in my 40s. I changed career in my 40s. You don't want to be powerless. Because when you're powerless, what are you? You're effectively food. Pretty boys usually know how to, you better know how to fight. As a pretty boy. Let me tell you something else, man. I remember back in the day when they used to call dudes, there was back in the day when you knew the guy who was really, I told dudes one time, I was like, man, y'all better leave that dude alone, man. Why? I'm like, yeah, he may be, but he's still a dude. And then one day, somebody gonna push him, and what ended up happening one day is they pushed him, and Reggie beat the dog brakes off Chris Cormier. And as Reggie was whooping his ass, glitter and sparkles was
Can you talk about the time your female coworker was bad-mouthing you behind your back at your engineering job and was
I just answered that.
you never broke it down all the way?
I already answered. Can you talk about time? Anyway, hold on. Reggie beat him. Reggie beat up Chris Cormier. And what's the worst thing to get beat up by a guy that's hoo-hoo? Can you bad mouth you behind your back at your engineering job is fire? You never broke it down all the way. I don't like to share every personal detail. When somebody's talking bad behind your back, they need to know one thing. Who are they talking to? Do not offend the wrong person. I had advocates in the company. I had people who liked me in the company. And when you're talking about somebody who's well respected and who's liked, or people just know that's not that person, they got to ask themselves a question. Did Kevin do that, or is it likely that you're lying? And if you're lying to Kevin, to me, what does that tell me? You'll lie on me. The reason she was terminated was not for that. They found a justifiable reason to get rid of her. But no company likes snakes. Okay? That's the ultimate point. This is why if office politics, diplomacy, the best thing you can have to protect yourself in organizations is connections. Not friends, connections. You know what's the best way to get connections? Collect favors. Don't exchange nice little anecdotes. box scores for games. Do shit for people. Collect favors. That's what The Godfather was. Hey, I'm going to do the one. What was it say? One day I may ask you to do something for me, and on that day you cannot refuse. So basically, what happened in The Godfather? Dude roll up to The Godfather, say, this stuff happened to me. And The Godfather says, got it. And here's how you pay me. Don't give me no money. Don't bake me no cake. Don't do nothing. Here's what I need you to do. One day, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you, and I'll ask you to do a favor for me. And that favor I ask, you cannot refuse. Why would the most powerful man in the Italian mafia and in the neighborhood not take your money? Because he has a marker against you. So if you have favors around organizations, you're a powerful man. It's a power broker. That's how we started all this. Now, the other side of it is you also need to have good intel. Because if you have J. Edgar Hoover, one of the most feared men in American politics, because he had those files. People wouldn't fuck with Hoover. Hoover was a fairy. I mean, Hoover was, go look at the movie. Why didn't anybody mess with Hoover? And the first thing they wanted to do when Hoover died is get those files. This is game, man. This is game. Game. You collect favors. People like to deal with people who can get shit done. The first way you collect favors is you do favors for other people. Are you the kind of person to do favors for other people? I am. I see you outside in your car, and you got the hood up on your car. What's wrong? Oh, you need a jump? I got it. Don't even know you. I put it out to the universe. I do favors for people all the time. Some people I know, some people I don't know. It comes back to you. All right. Let me make sure I don't have any, I wasn't planning on going this long. Obsidian, you like the new camera? You guys like the new camera? This is what I was really testing out. So I got the new camera lens. So you guys can see the crispiness of the camera. I'm trying a new setup and that kind of stuff. Lots of cool stuff, man. I got an announcement that'll be coming up later on this week about MIT. Men in Training MIT LA is coming up the end of March. So if you're interested in going, hit me up. If you want to get some one-on-one career advice, you want to just have a strategy session, let's do it. If you want to book your one-on-one individual virtual consultation, honestly, it's actually, I had them on, I actually had a Patreon only sale. It's on sale right now. I will allow that to go to the end of the week, to the end of February. So we got 3 more days. So yeah, that was for patrons only. But since I pushed the button already, I'm going to announce it. And if you're not a patron of the channel, become a patron of the channel. And if you just want to chop it up and have your uncle mentor you, join Patreon, come at the assistant director level. And every 2 weeks, we get to chop it up on the phone for 20 minutes minimum. Chop it up. Mentoring is real informal, but I tell you, it's some of the best thing ever. And if you're interested in life coaching, you have to send me an email to info@kevinrsamuels.com. So I hope this was informative. I actually went further than I was supposed to go, but that's what we do. Power, gentlemen. Power. One of the most powerful, since Obsidian's in here, you'll get a kick out of this. For you young guys, one of the most powerful men in the country's history in the last 100 years was the man by the name of James Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa, one of the most powerful men in the country. Jimmy Hoffa delivered a president. He was more powerful than guys far more rich than him. Go understand who Jimmy Hoffa was and why he was so powerful. He was the president of the Teamsters, the largest union in the United States. Individually, he didn't have millions upon millions of dollars in his bank account. But he wielded tremendous power. Study power. He didn't walk around peacocking around with a big old Rolex and blinged out. Power. Study it. Hey, Sanjeev, what is the best? Sanjeev's from Berkeley. What are the best complementary soft skills for engineers? Oh, I'm kind of at the end, man. But most engineers need to soft skills. Okay. I mean, so hard skills are things like proficiency in a foreign language, degree or certificate, computer programming, machine operation. Soft skills. Honestly, one of the best soft skills for engineers to learn is patience. Because you're dealing with people who tend to be very, very confident in their IQ, their learning. Smart people tend to lack patience. Patience is huge. Patience and being flexible. That's specific to my right brain brethren. Patience, flexibility, and then communication. Learning to actually be able to communicate what you think, want, or feel in a manner that the person receiving them can understand and respond to. All right. I got to run. Till next time, talk to you guys later.